Okay, welcome to the second video in this video series of how I'm recovering from loss. I am very excited to be sharing a few things with you guys today, specifically that has to do with my appointment with my naturopath. So if you guys saw my last video, you know what I'm talking about. I will link that video down below so you guys can watch it, those of you who have not watched it yet. But last video was the first video in this series, and I started off by telling you guys that I had just got my labs drawn that my naturopath ordered for me, and it was a lot of labs I got drawn. So I'm going to share those labs with you today, especially I'm going to hone in on the abnormal ones. And I'm also going to be sharing the supplements she has put me on to help correct those labs. And just to back up a little bit for those of you who are brand new here, I lost my pregnancy 6 weeks ago, IVF baby. We did our second frozen embryo transfer over the summer on July 26th. Embryo stuck, and then I lost baby at 7 weeks. And unfortunately, it was a miscarriage. And now 6 weeks later, I am still recovering from that. I feel like every day that passes, I'm feeling a little bit more normal. I know that the grief will never leave me. That's what a lot of people tell me. And so I'm learning that this pregnancy loss is just a part of my story. So I'll give you guys a little bit of a physical update on how I'm doing 6 weeks post DNC, but this video will focus on what my naturopath's plan is for me. I'm very excited. You guys know that I want to give myself plenty of time to heal from this loss, physically and emotionally. I'm focusing on physical right now because emotionally I'm still grieving. I'm still allowing myself to feel everything every day and cry when I need to and do all of that. And so I'm not quite ready to focus entirely on the emotional, mental part of it because I'm still kind of going through all of it. But I think the next video I'm going to start focusing on the mental and emotional part of healing for me. And for those of you who are new to my channel, welcome. I upload 1 to 2 videos a month. I remember saying 1 to 2 videos a week back in the day. Oh my gosh, forget about it. Now with my 19-month-old, I'm like, it's a struggle to get 1 video up a month. So my new goal is 2 videos now that he's a little bit older. Last year, he was a little baby and I was like struggling to get even 1 video up a month, but 1 to 2 a month. My goal is now 2 a month, and I'm so excited to be doing this for you guys. And my channel now focuses on fertility health, IVF informational videos because IVF has been my life for the past couple of years. So welcome. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope this video helps those of you who are going through the same thing. So I am very thankful I was able to get into my naturopath again. I used her a few years ago before I started IVF to try to get a regular cycle, get my period back. I will link my infertility journey video down below. In that video, I go over my infertility journey and why I've struggled for so many years, over 10 years of infertility, why I think that's been the case. But basically, I was put on the birth control pill way too early when I was 16 years old before I even had a period. And I think that's what messed me up from the very beginning. So I had not had a period by myself without the pill until I was in my 30s, and this naturopath helped me get my period back on my own. I had never had a period without the pill before then, and so I think I had my first period when I was like 34, which is absolutely crazy. But I'm so happy to be using the same naturopath again to help me get my cycle back. I did not get a period postpartum. I breastfed Quinn for a year and then weaned myself off breastfeeding, and I was hoping to have a period after being weaned off of breastfeeding, and that wasn't the case. And I knew I was going to do a frozen embryo transfer pretty quickly after weaning myself off breastfeeding. And so my clinic tried to have my body get a natural period by putting me on oral progesterone for, I think it was 7 or 9 days, and it didn't work. So they brought me in for an ultrasound, saw that my lining was thin, and said, well, you're probably not gonna have a period on your own because your lining is so thin. We'll just put you on the birth control pill and we will prepare your body for your frozen embryo transfer, which was over the summer, as I said. And so I did not get a natural period by myself postpartum. And so I feel like this is deja vu. Here we go again. I think I had worked with my naturopath in 2020 into 2021. It took me 8 months to get a period on the supplements that she put me on. And so I feel like I'm reliving this journey again. Like, I would love to get a period back. Like I said, I haven't gotten one, and I am still spotting a little bit post DNC. So I'll give you guys a quick physical update on how I've been doing post DNC. So I found out we miscarried on August 28th was my 8-week ultrasound, and then 2 days later on August 30th I had a DNC. And so this puts us right around 6 weeks post DNC, and I am still spotting a tiny bit. I mean, really small. Like, every day I wake up and I don't have any blood, and then like in the afternoon I have like a tiny little bit. And so I know that I'm at the tail end of the bleeding, but my gosh, you guys, the bleeding takes forever. They warned me, my fertility doctor warned me that I would be bleeding for 2 to 4 weeks. And then some literature says online that you can bleed up to 6 weeks post DNC, and that is me. So I am still recovering from that, but even so, I wanted to get into my naturopath right away to get my body healing and get this journey started as soon as possible, because like I said, I would love to get a period and I would love to get a normal cycle, a regular cycle every month. So let's pray that that happens, because I feel like if I can get myself healthy, baseline healthy, get regular cycles again, that will set my body up a lot better for the next frozen embryo transfer. Because I know a lot of you are wondering, like, why are you doing this? You're just gonna do another frozen embryo transfer. And I'm like, yes, true. But I feel like I can set my body up for better success if I can try to get all my baseline labs and hormones healthy again. And I think that will just help my body endure all of the artificial hormones I have to take and hopefully accept that embryo a little bit better. I don't know why I miscarried. The embryo was genetically tested. The grade was okay. It was a 6-day hatching blastocyst BC. A lot of you remember that. So this next embryo, I have one more embryo left. So that's really why I want to make sure that my body is fully prepared for this next one. It's the same grade, genetically tested, as this one that we just transferred and lost. And this is literally our last chance to have a baby, is this next embryo. And so even though I know that we're gonna have another frozen embryo transfer and go through all that process again, I just want to make sure my body is like fully prepared and fully healthy baseline before going into another transfer. And that's what I didn't do before this last transfer. And maybe my body just wasn't ready for this last transfer, because I really am still in postpartum. And that's a whole nother video topic I'll do soon, is like, when do you feel like you're ready for another one after you've had your miracle baby? It's a whole nother topic in and of itself. But I just want to make sure and give myself peace of mind that I did everything I could to set myself up for this next frozen embryo transfer. And so if we lose baby again, or if it doesn't work, I won't have any regrets, like knowing that I set myself up as much as I could and did everything I could leading up to the transfer. Yeah, and I won't regret anything. So that was a long-winded explanation as to why I'm going to my naturopath now. But let me share with you guys the labs. So basically, she ordered a bunch of like baseline blood work. So baseline like iron, blood levels, platelet levels, white blood cell count. So basic labs that like a regular doctor would order. She wanted to make sure that like my organs are all healthy. She ordered liver enzymes, thyroid panel, kidney panel. So basically all of my organs are healthy. Also heart lab, so cholesterol. My LDL, which is the bad cholesterol, is slightly high, but my lipids are super low, and my HDL, which is the good cholesterol, is high. And so we are watching that LDL cholesterol. So I'm going to be minimizing red meat and dairy. And I already do, but I haven't been paying so much attention to the dairy. And I used to be dairy free. A lot of you guys who have followed me for a long time know that back in the day I was gluten free and dairy free, and I have not been. So I'll just be paying more attention to my dairy intake, because the red meat, I don't eat much red meat. And then of course just lowering my stress levels should help with lowering LDL. So we are keeping an eye on my cholesterol, but all the other labs looked good. So now the hormone labs I knew would be all screwed up, and they are. And that is the reason why I'm going to my naturopath, is to try to get my hormone levels all figured out. Yeah, so the hormone labs, because I think it's so interesting. So the hormone labs that she ordered were testosterone, and there's a couple different types of like testosterone labs that she ordered. DHEA falls under testosterone, she ordered that, and then estrogen level and progesterone. So all of my hormone levels, estrogen, testosterone, and progesterone, are super low, like critically low. Like my body is not producing any hormones basically. And so this is so funny, because back when I started seeing her in 2020 to try to get my body to have a period, they were basically the same levels. All of my hormones, testosterone, estrogen, progesterone, were super, super low back then as well. And so we were kind of like laughing, because we're kind of repeating the same thing as I did 4 years ago. So basically the same supplements and the same like herbal stuff. So I think it's kind of interesting that my body sort of just went back to baseline that it's used to after IVF. I was really hoping once I had a baby that would like auto correct my hormones into like jump starting my body and being like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to do now. No, it did not happen, which goes to show you that IVF is so artificial. Like, yes, it gets you pregnant and has your baby, but like, you know, if you don't correct the underlying issues, they're still going to be there after IVF. And that is the case with me. So a lot of people have asked me if I have PCOS, and we've tested for that last time and we talked about it this time. I don't have PCOS, and the reason why is because I don't have the criteria for PCOS. I don't have high testosterone. I don't have high glucose. I don't have, there's a couple other things I don't have. I don't have body hair. I don't have any of the, I don't have cysts on my ovaries. I don't have any of the signs, symptoms, and criteria for PCOS other than irregular periods. It's like the only thing that I have. And so according to my naturopath, she doesn't think I have PCOS. What she thinks I have is my ovaries just need to wake up, she says. She doesn't think there's a miscommunication between like my pituitary gland or my brain to my ovaries. She thinks that's okay based on my labs. She thinks my ovaries are just asleep and they need to be woken up. And so that's why we are supplementing these hormones and trying to get my body to produce them with these supplements. So let's get into that now. Now that I'm looking at my labs, one more lab value that I forgot to mention was cortisol. So she had my cortisol drawn, and that's why I had to have my labs drawn right at 9 o'clock in the morning, because that's when cortisol is highest, is in the morning, in the early morning hours, and especially around 9 o'clock. And actually, you know, we always talk about cortisol levels, we want them low, but actually we want them high in the morning. And the reason is if your cortisol levels are high in the morning, that gives you kind of a jump start to the day, gives you motivation to get things kind of done and gets your day moving. And so we want cortisol levels to be on the higher side when you first wake up in the morning, because it just gives you that extra like energy early in the morning. And mine are not that high. Mine are on the low end. They're normal, but on the low end of normal. So she wants to raise those up a little bit. And so these supplements I take in the morning. And so I have all my supplements here. So let's go over those. And then also for the cortisol level, I'm supposed to be doing a couple things to raise that. And I'll go over that in a couple minutes after I go over the supplements. So the first supplement I have is this herbal tincture. This tastes really nasty, but I'm supposed to be taking a teaspoon every morning when I wake up, and there's a bunch of different herbs in here to help increase my estrogen level. And I remember taking this a few years ago when I was seeing her, and she had put me on 2 different ones. Right now she just has me on one to increase my estrogen. And yeah, this stuff tastes nasty. So I'm supposed to take a teaspoon in the morning along with taking DHEA. So my DHEA is super low, and she thinks that by raising my DHEA, it will automatically raise my other testosterone levels. So this is also in the morning right after I take this. And lastly, vitamin B12. So I didn't mention this on my labs, but we did look at my vitamin B12. My vitamin B12 is actually okay, but there is a breakdown of my red blood cells, and they seem to be a little bit abnormal. I don't want to go into too much detail. I don't want to confuse you guys, but the red blood cells being a little bit abnormal in shape could mean that my B12 is low, even though the level on the lab draw is okay. The actual B12 in my red blood cells could be a little bit low. So anyways, I'm supposed to be taking one of these in the morning as well. And because she thinks my B12 is low, that is actually a reason for miscarriage in a lot of women. And we didn't really talk about that, but the more I kind of read online and hear other people's stories, like B12 can be a big factor in miscarriage. So I think that's really interesting. So these are the 3 supplements I'm on from her. I take them all in the morning. And then I do have these lavender pills, which when I posted on my Instagram story, a lot of you were interested in the link to this, which I will link all of my supplements down below if you guys are interested. This one though is made by my naturopath, so I can't link this, but I can link the other 2, and then I can link these lavender pills. So I was telling her I have a lot of anxiety at night, and so she says to take a lavender pill with dinner, and that will help kind of ease the tension, and it really does help actually. I didn't think it would, but I do notice a little bit of a difference. So those lavender pills really help at night for my anxiety. So I just started taking all of this a week ago. She says that in 6 months we'll redraw my labs, or if I'm having side effects from anything, I'm supposed to make an appointment with her. But it takes a really long time for the body to heal. It takes a really long time for hormones to get figured out. And like I said, I remember last time when I was on supplements like this, it took 8 months for my body to actually have a period. I'm hoping it doesn't take 8 months this time. I really hope it doesn't take 8 months this time. But I would love to have a period before I start start the process of the frozen embryo transfer again. And so that puts us way into 2025. So 6 months from now is around March of 2025. We'll reevaluate, get my labs drawn, see where I'm at, and we'll go from there. In the meantime, I was going to talk to you guys about my cortisol level being low. So the liquid tincture should also help cortisol levels, but also she wants me to get sunlight right within 30 minutes of waking up in the morning. I live in Washington, the Pacific Northwest. It's always rainy and cold and gloomy, and we are getting into winter already. So when I wake up in the morning, it's still dark. It's either still dark or it's cloudy. So I told her I'm not sure how I'm gonna get sunlight within 30 minutes of waking up, and she said, okay, I'll send you a link. I haven't gotten it yet, so I'll put the link down below, and I'll show you a little picture here of, I think it's this like light box I can turn on, and I can like be in light when I first wake up. So I'm gonna order that. I haven't ordered it yet. And then she says I'm supposed to do 5 to 7 minutes of exercise within 30 minutes of waking up, and that will boost my cortisol levels. So a little HIIT workout, jumping, and I see some people on social media getting the little trampolines that they jump on. I don't know if I'm gonna do that, but I haven't done it yet because whenever I wake up in the morning, it's 5 in the morning when I have to go to work, and I cannot bring myself to do a HIIT workout or jumping for 5 to 7 minutes when I first wake up. It's like, I just have to do it, but I haven't done it yet. And then on my days off, I sleep in a little bit until 6:30 when Quinn wakes up, and then he's already up, and they're just excuses. I just need to do it. The idea of jumping around first thing when I wake up does not sound appealing. So getting into sunlight within 30 minutes of waking up, and then some sort of like intense exercise for 5 to 7 minutes within 30 minutes of waking up, and then taking these supplements will all help increase my cortisol levels in the morning. That's really it in a nutshell. The other lab that was a little bit off was my glucose. It was 95 fasting, which is fine, but she likes to see glucose levels in the 70s fasting, and so I'm going to be really watching my sugar intake. I normally do watch my sugar intake, but since having a baby, I haven't really paid much attention to it, honestly. So I have a lot of low carb recipes I used to make back in the day before having Quinn, so I'm getting back into those. Yeah, so I think that's about all the updates with my naturopath. I mentioned before I am still spotting slightly, but other than that, physically I feel pretty good. I am still having some joint pain, and I mentioned that to my naturopath, and she thinks it's just because my hormones are so low. Once my body corrects these hormones, my joint pain should go away. It's not bad. It's just I notice it because I work out. If I didn't work out, if I wasn't into exercise, I probably wouldn't notice it, but my knees kind of ache when I do squats, and so I've had to really modify like my leg workouts and stuff, which is very weird for me to have joint pain. And then my lower back a little bit, especially if I stand for longer periods of time, and I've never had back pain. Just watching all of that, I really feel strongly about getting myself healthy, getting my baseline labs better, just getting myself physically overall healthy to prepare for our next transfer. And then I am going to be working on the mental and emotional aspect of it all too, because I know when we get to the next transfer, I might be mentally a wreck if I don't hone in on issues that I'm dealing with right now. Like I mentioned, the next video will be about how I am dealing with the mental and emotional aspect of pregnancy loss. By the way, happy Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Month. I didn't realize it was October for some reason. So I'm so thankful I'm able to share with you guys. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, because it does really help support my channel. I will see you in the next video, and always remember to be kind to yourself.